All right. Well, welcome everybody out to our presentation today. So I'm Trevor. I'm one of the Amplizon coaches here, and we are talking and doing sort of an in-depth review here of Keepa. And if you guys haven't heard of Keepa before, let me sort of introduce it to you guys today, and we'll talk about some of the basics behind it, maybe how to use it a little bit, some of the implications of some of the data we're going to get from Keepa, and then we'll see kind of how we are on time as we talk about that. As always, please interact. I mean, you've got a chat box there. Comment, ask questions. I'm certainly happy to take those throughout the presentation and not just at the end. I would prefer it that way anyway. So, okay. Well, let's first of all, let's just talk about what it is. Number one, Keepa is a free research tool. Now, there's a paid version like there is with a lot of these research tools, but this one is free, and all you guys need is the free version. So don't go paying for this, right? And it's Keepa.com, Keepa.com. And let me just point out the main reason why we use this, okay? Especially from an arbitrage standpoint. When you guys are deciding on a product to sell using arbitrage, there's a lot of little points you look at, and there's a lot of factors that will go into determining whether or not you decide to sell product XYZ, right? But two of the most important ones that you look at are going to be price and sales rank, okay? So in our notes here, I've got a little white pad in front of me here. I'm just going to say two main issues to review before we buy a product. One is price. Two is sales rank, right? Now, here's the problem with these two things, though. At any given time, if you look at a product, it's going to give you a current price, right? And it's going to give you a current sales rank, which is great. But these two numbers change all the time, don't they? Or they can change. Just because it's priced at $7.99 today on Amazon doesn't mean it's going to be $7.99 tomorrow. It could be, right? But it could change. Each product has its own ecosystem of sellers, and depending on the prices that those sellers are choosing to sell the product for, and new sellers, it could bump the price up or down. So price is variable, right? This is not a static number. Just because it's $14.99 today does not guarantee it's going to be $14.99 tomorrow, right? And that's slightly problematic for us, because if I'm going to make a decision to buy some inventory and send it to Amazon, I really would like to be comfortable knowing what the price is, right? But we can't be entirely comfortable with that because it changes, right? Same with sales rank. So, for example, let me bring up a little product for you right here. This is a beekeeping brush, and I do a little bit of beekeeping as a side hobby. So, pardon me as I kind of jump into some of the things that I like. But this is a brush. I actually own this very same brush. You use it in your beekeeping and brushing bees around without hurting them. Anyway, that's what this product is. Right now, it's currently set at $8.60. Right? You guys can see that pricing. Maybe I'll highlight that right here. Right? $8.60 and Prime right this second. Well, here's the problem with that. If I found a supplier for these Little Giant Farm beekeeping brushes, and I could get them at a certain price, I'm going to base a lot of my decision around what I think I can sell it for, right? But $8.60 could go up tomorrow, it could go down tomorrow. It's a variable I can't control. Okay, now same with sales rank. So let's scroll down to sales rank. On any product, if you need to find the sales rank, you just sort of scroll down and you look for this product information section right here. Okay, and then you look for what's called best sellers rank. Now, just a quick guide on this. When we do evaluations on products, we always we want a product that has a bestseller rank in a top level category, in a main category on Amazon. We know this does because there's no subcategories listed here. It's just number 6,065 in patio, lawn, and garden. And then you see out here it says see top 100 in patio, lawn, and garden. That's usually an indication that this is a top main level category. Okay. Usually if it's not, it'll say patio, lawn, and garden, and then it'll be followed by one of these symbols, and then it'll be like, you know, lawns. Sorry for I'm writing with a mouse here. This is the best I can do. I hope you can read it. Lawns, and then it's going to be like also, you know, here's the next subcategory, fertilizer, right? It's et cetera, and then it's going to have blah blah blah, right? So that's how you know categories, subcategories. We don't want those, right? We just want a top level category. Now, if I wanted to quantify this number really quick, some of you guys should know how to do this, but if you're not familiar, I might go to junglescout.com/estimator, and I'm going to find this category, this patio, lawn, and garden, which incidentally is right here. Okay. And I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to put in that number. Now, what was that number again? That was 6,065, right? And what this is going to do for me on this product anyway, it's going to estimate how many monthly sales this product is likely getting. And again, this is just an estimation. It's saying about 250 sales per month on this brush at that current sales rank, right? Which is all well and good. But we made the point just a minute ago that sales rank, just like price, can change, right? That sales rank could be different later on today if I look up the product. Next week, it could be different. If I look it up, it might be lower, it might be higher. And that's, again, like we said, that's problematic, right? Those variations cause a little bit of uncertainty when I'm trying to decide which products I want to buy. Because my research today, I'm hoping, will drive me to make a buying decision on some inventory. And these are two variables that I can't control, okay? But here's what we can do to help us out. Sometimes, and I don't think this is always true, but sometimes we like to say the past can be an indication of what the future holds, right? Well, that's not always true. Like, that's not a truism in life in general, right? It's not always the case. Things can change. Just because it happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen in the future. But when we're looking at pricing on Amazon and sales rank on an Amazon product, a lot of times what's happened in the past can help us see what the future holds, okay? And that's what Keepa does. So let me show you this product in Keepa. Now, as far as how to use Keepa, I guess I should have maybe brought this up in the beginning. You can go to Keepa.com here, and you can run everything directly from Keepa. So, for example, I go to Keepa.com, I've got another tab, another window open, and I would just come up here and hit search, and then I could just drop in the ASIN if I wanted. Some of my clients prefer to do it that way, and I'll show you how to do that today. So I'm going to grab the ASIN, which is right here under product information. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm just going to paste it right here and do a search. And it's going to bring up a graph, which I'll discuss here in just one second, okay? So that's one way to use Keepa. The other way is you could come over here and you could click on apps, and you can, depending on what browser you use, I hope most of you guys are using Google Chrome. It just runs everything quite a bit better. So if you're not, install Chrome and then install Keepa onto your Google Chrome web, or from your Google Chrome web store. You can click on this and you're able to install it. Once it's installed, what's neat is, I need to change the color of my pen here so you can see it better. I'm going to change it to red. Okay, so what's neat here is right up here, do you see this? You see this little symbol pointing to it with an arrow or two? I know this is small, so I'm doing several arrows. Right up here at the top right of my screen, that's the little Keepa symbol, that little blue circle with the white cross going through it. it installs it there. And then what you can do with it is whenever you get onto a product that you'd like to review on Keepa, you can simply just click on that little extension when you get onto the product. Let me show you. Okay, so let's go to Amazon. And let's pick any random product, right? We'll grab this product right here, this little Lord of the Rings ring. And then if I want, I can just come up here because I've installed it to my Google Chrome as an extension, and I click on that, and that brings it into Keepa pretty quickly, okay? So you can do it that way as well. I don't prefer that way because sometimes you get little errors and things, so I would rather you simply just plug it into Keepa directly like I just did a minute ago, or once you've got Keepa installed, a cool thing happens. When I scroll down on this product, guess what? I get this nifty little graph here that automatically shows up, which is probably the way most of you guys will use this, because it's now the graph is already installed into your product that you're reviewing. Normal Amazon shoppers or researchers wouldn't see this. You're only seeing this because you've got Keepa installed on your browser. Now, some of you guys who are using retail arbitrage and you're using the seller spyglass tool, some of you guys are using this. When you're using seller spyglass, there's a Keepa logo next to all the products that show up in spyglass. It's that same Keepa logo that's up here at the top right. You can just sort of click on that next to any of those products. I won't show you right now just for the sake of time. Click on that and that'll load it up as well. Okay. So anyway, those are the ways you get the graph to come up. But I think this is the easiest way. Install it as an extension and then just go to your product and you'll have a graph listed right there. Okay. All right. So that's Keepa. That's how to get it installed. Now, let's review it on this product right here. First of all, like when you get into it, I want you guys to notice, let me just zoom in on this so it's a little easier to see this graph. There we go. That's a little bit better. But when you get onto the screen with the graph, you're going to notice this section over here first. And this is going to be what displays the different lines on the graph. So right now, the only thing that's showing up is sales rank, right? And you can see it's got the little green circle right there, and that's what's producing this little line graph. When you first bring up Keepa on your end, you might have a bunch of these already selected. So the graph might be super confusing. It'll likely look like this, right? All kinds of stuff going on in this graph, and you're probably thinking, I have no idea what I'm even looking at here. Well, that's because right now I've got that selected, that, and that, right? That's too much, right? Well, there's only a few things we're going to use this for initially as a newer seller. And anyway, today at least, to address the 2 points I brought up, we're only going to look at sort of like the new and the buy box, or in the sales rank. So right now, just for the sake of this example, let's just have sales rank selected, okay? Now you're seeing this green graph, right? You're seeing this green line graph going up and down. This axis right here is time, okay? This axis is your sales rank, right? So you can see this is 100,000, this is 80,000, this is 60,000, 40,000, and 20,000. So you can see over time, starting back here in October of 2015, you can see the sales rank kind of go up and then come down and go up and come down, and then it goes way down here in April 2017, comes back up over the winter, comes back down, where we are here in April of 2018, okay? Obviously, guys, we don't want a high sales rank, do we? High sales rank means fewer sales happening on the product. Lower the sales rank means the more sales and the quicker those items are selling. So we're always looking for something that's lower. Well, so when we looked at this product originally, and if we were considering whether or not we wanted to evaluate sales rank on this, when we were looking at it, we saw that there was a 6,065 was the current sales rank. And we talked about over here, that can change. And if we're going to buy this product, we just want to ensure that that number is not some sort of an anomaly, that it's not artificially low, that it's trending in the right direction. And so what I can do is I can look at Keepa to help me see this right here, that the past sometimes can be an indication of what the future holds. What does the past sales rank look like on this product? So what I'm going to do is, sorry, I've got so many tabs open right now, clicking through them. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm looking at this, and by the way, I didn't mention this, but this is really nice right here. This will show you the date range. Right now we're looking at a 967-day date range, which is probably a little much on this right now. So let's change the date range. Let's just start at a month, for example. Okay, so I clicked month, and you can see the line graph. What would you guys say about this graph? This started on April 11th, as you can see over here. And it's gone through the whole month of April, and now we're at May 8th. Well, technically May 9th, right? Here's what the sales rank was or is. So it started here at right around 3,000, and now it's up to 6,000. What can you guys say about this graph? Is there anything meaningful you're pulling out of this for just a 1 month period of time? Which way is it trending? Is our sales rank getting better, or is it getting worse? Well, I think that's pretty obvious, right? You can see over the month, it's kind of steadily climbed, hasn't it? It started at 3,000. It dropped as low as just below 2,000, and then it's kind of been doing this, right? It's been going up a little bit. Well, but this is only over the course of the last month. I mean, if we want to really see the data, let's pull it out. So let's look over the course of 3 months. Now that changes it up a little bit, right? All of a sudden, it started in February right around 20,000 as a sales rank. And it's generally gone this way over the last 3 months, right? It's gone in our favor. It's been moving down. Okay. Well, let's pull it out a little further. Let's look over the past year. This is even more interesting. What do you guys notice about the graph here? So if we started back in last May, from that point forward, notice the way it just simply moved up and up and up, right? To where it was peaking up here in, November, December at, close to, it looks like 70,000. Since then, what has it done? It's dropped. What can you guys say about this now that you've seen this a little bit more? Is there any trends we're seeing here in the data? And right now the sales rank is at 6,000. Can you guys estimate or based on what this graph shows, can we say maybe what it's going to do in the future? What do you guys think? Yeah, there is a little bit of a trend, isn't there? We could pull it out even further, right? Can't we do that to see if that trend continues? From what I see, in the warmer months, it's lower, which means sales are higher. When it gets into the fall and the winter, sales are lower, or sales rank is higher, right? Let's pull it back out. Does the data confirm that over the last 967 days? So this started in October. And by the way, not all products will show you that, well, not all products have this much historical data. Like this product has obviously been on Amazon for several years, which is why we have all this data. Some of the products you guys research may have pretty limited historical data, and that's okay. But where there is data, we want to make sure we're using it correctly, don't we? So I agree, Roxanne. I think if you think about what we're selling, This is a beekeeping product, isn't it? You better believe bees sleep in the winter, especially where I live out here in Utah. It is too cold, and bees are hibernating in their hives. And as a result, how many beekeepers are out there purchasing beekeeping supplies? Or more specifically, a beekeeping brush? Not many, right? Now, sales are still being had, but let's look at this graph. So this is, presumably this product got listed on Amazon back in October of 2015. And the sales rank was, in the neighborhood of 30,000, 30, 40,000. And it just kind of stayed high, didn't it? Right? Kind of stayed high. And then notice this drop into the spring of 2016. Right? Spring, late summer, it stays pretty low. And then guess what happens? It starts to creep back up, right? Wintertime comes around, it creeps up, not as many sales, and then bam, it drops pretty hard as we get into spring, and got real low last year in 2017, which is good. That means the product is selling better as it's gotten more established here on Amazon. But then the weather starts to cool down a little bit, sales rank goes up, and then watch it drop. So what can we say? I mean, if I look in the past, back in 2017, it stayed low all the way until July. Even in August, it was still pretty low. Same here. It stayed pretty low in that region. So my guess is the graph is going to do this, just like it did before. So if I bought it now, I've got a period of time where the sales rank is going to stay really low, don't you think? Which means I feel pretty comfortable about the number of sales I'm going to be getting. Now, just to, let me pull off my drawings here, just to make sense of that. Last year at its peak, this thing, like in the dead of winter, November, December, this sales rank, was probably right around 55 or 60,000. Let's notice the difference on that. Currently, at its current rate, we're selling 250 of these a month on this product. But if we bring this out to 50,000 in the dead of winter in the slow season, this is only selling about 34 a month. So they still are being purchased, but just at a much, much slower rate, right? So going back to our initial concern here, let's go back to our notes really quick. Number 2, sales rank can change, and that's problematic when we're doing product research. But if you have enough data and you're using something like Keepa, you can see if there's any trends in the sales rank. You can see it going up and going down. Sometimes there's not really much of a trend, but you can see what it's done in the past, and that can help you predict what it's going to be like in the future so that you're not caught off guard, right? If I would have bought this product, say, at the end of the warm season, I bought it in August and I backed up the truck and bought hundreds of them thinking that I was going to sell it. But then as the weather cooled down, I didn't. I would have been pretty upset, right? If I would have just taken that static sales rank and just made some assumptions based on that, I would have been in trouble. But knowing that I'm going to do a little more research and I'm going to look at Keepa to see what that sales rank does over time, that's going to help me be more clear on what I buy. So my general rule with all of my clients is before you ever purchase a product in the arbitrage world, you do not purchase that product unless you first at least reviewed what happens on Keepa to that sales rank, right? The same thing goes with the price. So if I bring up this same product, I can look starting over the last month. Let's change this to new, and let's look at the price. Notice that I'm only getting one line. This thing has been selling pretty consistently new at $5.99. Let me pull it back 3 months. $5.99. Let me pull it back a year. $5.99. At one point it was $5.82. Right? Let me pull it all the way back for the last several years. This is my line graph. You guys can kind of see this. I know it's a little lighter, but hopefully you can. So it started when this was listed clear back in October at like $8.75. It pushed up to around $10.50, came down to $7, back up to around $9, and then since then it's dropped and sold pretty consistently at the $6 price. Based on that data, can I assume that next month and the month after and even a year from now it's going to be at that $6 price? It seems pretty likely, right? If the past is any indication of the future, it seems pretty likely. Is it possible that it could bump back up to that, $9, $10 level? It's possible, but we haven't seen that happen for a couple of years at least, right? Is it possible it could drop lower? I mean, it is, and it's moved up and down a little bit, but you can see as a whole, since about April, well, no, more like February of 2016, it has stayed around a $6 price. Now, why is that useful? Again, if you're looking at a product to purchase and you're seeing a current price, you can use Keepa to decide if that price has a good chance of staying about the same. This is an extreme example because the price hasn't changed for several years. So I would feel very, very comfortable that I can still sell this for $6 and probably will for a while, right? Obviously, nothing's guaranteed. You could get a new seller on this that got them somehow at dirt cheap and is looking to liquidate inventory and wants to sell it at $4 a piece. Is that possible? Sure. Is it likely? I don't know. Based on the data, I don't think it is very likely, right? Guys, does that make sense? So again, with the two biggest variables here and seemingly our enemy, right? Variables are our enemy here when we're trying to do arbitrage because we don't like changes on our data. But the reality is sometimes things can change. But if we're using this tool correctly, we're checking what's happened historically, both with price and sales rank. And as a result, we're going to be able to make better decisions about what we purchase and feel more comfortable that price will remain constant or maybe even improve, and that sales rank will remain constant or maybe improve based on some of this data. And if we see a bad trend, if we see a product where the sales rank is going way up and we're on an upslope, we might choose to pass on that product because it doesn't look like it's selling well and it may not continue to, and it may sell worse and worse and worse, right? That's the help that Keepa offers us. So I want you guys to all include this in your arbitrage research, okay? This should be something you kind of do toward the tail end when you're getting really serious about whether or not to buy a product. In some of our other trainings, we talk about in arbitrage, there's a bit of a screening process, right? You're first using seller spyglass and you're just working through products and making sure that they match, making sure that it's an ASIN that you can actually sell, that it's not a restricted brand or category. You're making sure that there's enough profit margin there, right? You're doing some of these just general checks, but when you get really serious about the product, before you ever pull the trigger, make sure you run this, look at the numbers, see if you can garner anything from the data, and then let that help make a better buying decision for you. Guys, I hope that makes sense. If you've got other questions, go ahead and ask. I'll leave it open for just a minute, but then if not, we'll go ahead and finish up and we'll see you guys again soon. So I'm going to stop the recording now. Actually, let me see if there's anybody who's got questions first, and then we'll finish up the recording. I'll just stop for a sec and let you guys catch up. Ask away, and then we'll finish up. Thanks. Okay, one question just coming in from one of you guys, just the when in the process should you be using this? Use it at the tail end of your arbitrage. Again, this is something you should probably, I wouldn't run these numbers on every product you're looking at. That's crazy, right? You've got to make sure that you sort of pre-screen a lot of your products first to make sure it fits some of the general criteria we look for in arbitrage. Like I said, make sure it's not a restricted category, make sure it's a matching item, make sure there's enough profit there, make sure the sales rank is decent. If all of that is true, then you start to look at Keepa to make sure that these things are constant and that price isn't going to fluctuate on you too much or sales rank isn't going to fluctuate on you too much. So yeah, I would use this at the tail end. Good question. Okay, well, if you have any other questions, guys, email them over. Talk to your coach about it. We'll do more of these trainings as we move forward. Glad you were here. We'll see you guys soon.